Good day, everyone. Robert Weimer, the go-to guy of DesireADifference.com. Today we are going to get into a couple of features. We are going to get into tools and plugins. Plugins are going to be fun. Okay, we've already logged into our training account and we are going to check the tools. We're going to get the dull stuff out of the way before we get into the cool stuff. Now, if you remember from a previous lesson, the Press This bookmarklet allows you to basically grab copy from the internet on different sites and put them into a draft or put them into a new blog post. It also keeps with the text the URL and gives sort of a link. It's great for citing sources and citing quotes. It also grabs images and the like. We're not going to get into Press This, but what we are going to get into first, we are going to get into backing up your WordPress website. So we're going to click on Export. Now, this is the thing that's important to remember. You can back up the entire site, which will include your themes, your contents, such as images and music and the like. You can back up all your plugins one way. But for me, I can always reinstall all of those things. The most important thing is the copy. It's all of the content. So what we want to have is everything set at its defaults. And trust me, folks, this is important, especially if you start being very prolific in your blog posts. And let's say a year from now you have about 500 posts, about 100 pages, 60 contributors and that sort of thing. This is more important than themes and plugins and the like, because you can replace those within an hour, within 30 minutes actually. But this stuff you gotta get. So leave everything at its default, and you want to download the export file, and it's going to give you a place where you can save it. I would choose this desktop, and I would leave the file name the same, and it's going to export as an XML document. And you want to save it, and it's not going to take that long. It's not a very big file. Basically, it's a bunch of code. Now, what you want to do after you do that is I would back it up on an external storage device, a flash drive, CD-ROM, or online storage, something that's reliable, because this is your life and you need to be backing it up. Remember what I said in one of the first video tutorials, that WordPress.org will not back up your site. You have to back it up yourself. Depending upon your host, it will offer backup solutions, but for me, I kind of like to be in control of my destiny and in control of my financial hub, and I do the backing up myself. Okay, so we get into tools. Now you can also go through and import. Now if you're going from a WordPress to WordPress.org website but you're changing hosts, this is very important. So let's say you have your backup and you've already saved and you got it out and you're ready to do this. What you want to do is you want to click on this WordPress link down at the bottom. You want to install now. You want to activate the plugin and run importer. But we're not going to do that because we don't want to import anything, because we haven't lost anything. But I just wanted to show you how easy it will be. We're going to go ahead and activate the plugin. Now all we have to do, the plugin's activated, we browse for our file, click the WordPress and click on Open, and you upload the file and import. Very, very, very simple. We'll go back to import and let me show you some of the other features. If you've had a Blogger account, it will basically install a plugin and allow you to import your blogging. Categories and tags converter, you can get into that. Again, we're getting into lots of things that if you were to click on the help feature and go into your documentation, you will see exactly what this does. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and leave this up to you to read. If you are just starting off your first WordPress website, you're not going to have anything to back up, or import I should say. But once you get everything set up, you will definitely want to do an export. And this is important too. When there comes a time that WordPress goes through an update, right now we have the latest version, but not that long ago we had version 3.0.1 out. And before you do any major updates to your WordPress website, you most definitely want to do a backup, i.e. exporting all of your authors, your contributors, posts, everything, all of your pages. Very simple process, and it'll save you a lot of headache. That's enough about the tools section. Not a whole lot there. This is where we get into some fun. We're going to go ahead and do some plugin stuff. Now folks, for the sake of this tutorial, there are thousands of plugins, both free and paid plugins. It would take weeks to go into tutorials on every single one. And down the road I am going to offer a subscription service to a subscribers only site that goes into picks and configurations of plugins that work well in WordPress. But for right now, we're just going to show you the gist of what is here. Now, as it was before in another tutorial, you can click the top, click on bulk actions, and you can activate all of these plugins. Right now every single one of them is deactivated. Or you can choose to activate particular ones. Now as you can see, there are menu choices that allow you to activate down here. You can edit the plugin, but again, unless you know something about code, this really isn't going to work for you. You can choose to delete the plugin. Let's choose to get rid of Hello Dolly. Sorry WordPress people. You can choose to delete the files or return you to the plugins, and then you can check to see which list of files are going to be deleted. Not much there. So we're going to go ahead and delete that file. Now you can always re-download the plugins, and I'm going to show you how to download them. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new plugin. And we are going to add something that is going to bring traffic to your website and something that you see all over the website. And it's called the Facebook like button. And there we go. We are going to search Facebook like button plugin for WordPress. Now here's the thing. When you get into plugins, you definitely want to look it over. I typically don't choose anything that is much below 3.5 stars. This is a great plugin, so I'm going to go ahead and choose this. It's good to read your description, but getting into the details is where it really counts. You can check screenshots, which will show you what you're going to be getting whenever you download the plugin, what it's going to look like. You can go ahead and get into the frequently asked questions. You can get into other notes, which gives you your site. It gives you your version number, and importantly, your average rating. This has got 3.5 stars at 35 ratings. Now for me, that's pretty darn good. So we're going to go ahead and install. Once it installs, which takes very quick, activate the plugin. Now as you can see, the color's changed because this is the only one that is activated. Now, depending upon the plugin that you install, it could show up in one of three places. It could show up as a separate tab underneath here, which is not the case. It can show up under widgets, which is not the case here, or it could show up more than likely under settings. So we're going to expand that, and there is your Facebook like button. Now it gives you a preview of what this is going to look like, and much instructions on here on all of that. You can choose to display above content, below content. I mean, everything is really very self-explanatory. I like to leave things right where they are. Let's take a look at our blog post and see what it looks like. Ah, right above and below our content. I'm Stan the Man, right above and below the content. And trust me, it'll look a lot better once you have posts. But in my opinion, it definitely needs to go above the posts. And you can choose to have it on individual posts or on individual pages, that sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it on the posts and get rid of it off of the home page. And we are going to go ahead and put it, make sure that it's not below the content. I just want it above. Now let's go ahead and update our options. And let's refresh. And as you can see, it's right above the post. And if we go back to our home page, nothing there. Unless you have a page that you want to promote through Facebook, it is, you can put it on every single page or as many pages as you'd like. But definitely on all of your posts, and especially if you're promoting a particular product or service at the time. The Facebook like button is so simple and yet so powerful. This is, and perk up everybody, this is the thing that you have to have. This is a must for all that you've got. And I'm going to go ahead and show you one more plugin before we get into other areas. We are going to find sexy bookmarks. Now it's not pornographic, so don't worry about that. That's just the editor's name, or the editor putting his whole thing on this. Now look at this. We can read the descriptions all we like, but this has probably 4.25 stars. But that means nothing to me until I look at the details. Out of 164 ratings, now that is really good. This is worth installing. Very good descriptor, recent updates, very open with their stuff. It has screenshots, so you get an idea of what this looks like. Absolutely, and this is most assuredly a must install. So we're going to go ahead and install it. May take a little time for it to download depending upon your connection and traffic to the site. And we are going to activate the plugin. Now as you can see, depending upon the plugin that you have, it will definitely give you a notice if it needs to be configured. So we're going to go ahead and go to the plugins options page. I prefer not to use the beta version. Beta versions are a little flaky, so we're going to leave that as no. Now you can have all of these social networks if you want, but basically, and this is a good thing to remember, if your viewer to your site is given too many choices, too many options, they will choose nothing. They won't choose any options. So let's go ahead and give them the most popular. Now, I don't know why, but Facebook is not chosen. You got to check that. And we are going to put, and you can move these around. I'm going to put that first. We are going to put Twitter right next to it. That's another one. And we are going to put Google Buzz next to that. And let's do Stumble Upon is, put that right there. See what I'm doing? We can mix and match and move these around. And let's go ahead and put LinkedIn there as well. It doesn't matter if it's on the second row. See all of these at the top? They're not checked at all. So these are going to show up by default. And we scroll down after we've checked our particular social plugs that we want to have, and we want to move them around in the order that we want, I highly suggest putting these in these order: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, StumbleUpon. Let's go ahead and put StumbleUpon and move that over there, and Buzz. Now, we have a lot of different codes, Twitter options, that sort of thing. Now we can do title and short link. I would definitely leave everything right where it is. You can choose between your UR shortener. Let's go to bit.ly. I like that. You can have a user ID and all of that. And let's take a look. Twitter friendly links plugin. V21me. There we go. Let's put it right back where it was. Default Yahoo Buzz defaults. You can go ahead and, depending upon your site, you can choose a default where it's going to post. Let's put it under lifestyle. Default media type, we are going to leave it as text. Tweety defaults, we are going to put it under, again, lifestyle. Default tags, we're going to leave it as blog for now. We'll leave it up to you to decide where you want it to go. Add not followed to the links. Let's go ahead and leave these right where it is. Open links in new windows. Absolutely. You want your site to stay in the window, and you don't want people switching away. You want a new window to come up. So, what we want to do is decide what we are going to do. Now you could put sharing as sexy, which is there by default, and depending upon what your site preference is and who you are, you can do that if you want. Let's do share the knowledge. Since we are a bookstore, we are going to put it below the content. You can put it above and below, but again we get into a whole choice feature. And you can put it on the site, whole thing, but we are going to put it on posts and pages. Definitely show up in the RSS feed. Hide menu from mobile browsers, absolutely not. And we're going to go ahead and save changes. Now it's configured. Now let's take a look at what we got. Ah, nice. Once you do that, menu pops up. And if you're logged in to your Facebook and you click on it, my connection must be a tad bit slow. But basically what will happen is, around in this area it will show as a login page. We're going to go ahead and get out of that. Let's take a look at our Bookworm blog. I'm Stan the Man. Now if we look and we see, again, we get a lot more text in here, it'd be a lot better. But see, we're not having too many options or too many choices to just overload people. That looks nice. Does all of this stuff look familiar? Haven't you seen this on other sites? This is all that it is, folks. It is not rocket science. It is people utilizing WordPress-driven websites as the standards, and they're just importing plugins. No coding at all, unless you're a geek, kind of like me. Let me show you some other stuff. You can go ahead and find out what is active in your plugins that you've downloaded, and you can also find out what is inactive. It helps for sorting purposes, keeping things organized. Let's take a look at our Add New, like where we were before, and you can choose among the popular tags, and these are the tags that programmers have put into their description, and this shows up as a tag cloud. If you click on Widget, it will show you all the plugins that have widgets. Now let's take a look at some of these ratings. WordPress Amazon Associate got 5 stars. Looks pretty impressive, right? Well, let's take a look at the details. Okay, the description looks good. Let's take a look at the screenshots. Okay, that looks pretty good. Based on 5 ratings, not bad. I would like someone with a little bit higher users giving ratings to it. Let's take a look at some others. And as you can see, some of these have absolutely no stars at all. Definitely avoid these like the plague. I don't care if they are brand new. If they haven't been tested, then you never know. Here's 3 stars. Okay, 3 stars might wean me off, but let's take a look at the details. 3 stars at 2 ratings. Yeah, definitely something to avoid. So my point in all of this, when you start looking at plugins and start making choices as to what to download and what not to download, you really got to don't make a decision based solely on what you see first. Get really into it. 4 stars at 61 ratings. Absolutely, I would download that, even without a screenshot. If you want to know more about it, you can take a look at the plugin homepage. And get more information from there. Find out more about your editor. Now, you can go into search results. You can take a look at the featured plugins, which are some of your more popular ones. You can take a look at the more popular, which is a good place to start. All-in-one SEO pack, fantastic. Akeem set, great. Contact Form 7, absolutely I would download that. WP Super Cache, you've got that already on there, I believe. Let's take a look. And take a look here. Contact Form is not installed, so it gives you options. But if you look, WP Super Cache, we know that's installed, and it reads that it's installed. So it's not like you have to keep track of what you've got. WordPress keeps track for you, and that's a fantastic thing. You can take a look at the newest plugins, and you can take a look at the most recently updated plugins. A great sorting method. Now, a thing about plugins. You can go plugin happy and download 5 different social media widgets that basically do the same thing. It can make things very, very confusing, and actually I have seen WordPress sites that have just gone overboard on plugins and it looks very junky. You don't want anything to take away from the content that you have, your product, your message. You only want to download plugins that enhance what you already have. So that is something to keep in mind whenever you go through your plugins. Let's go ahead and close that out. And let's go ahead and log out. Our site is shaping up. And that concludes our video tutorial for this segment. I'm Robert Weimer, the go-to guy. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at robert@desireadifference.com. Thank you and have a wonderful and prosperous day.